Hello and welcome to the Tarkus Zone. Thank you for joining me. Today we're playing the game Ars Notoria and we're in the playtest environment. I wanted to do this video to talk about the automation. You can automate things in this game so you don't have to do all the tasks yourself. In front of me you'll see I've got this sawmill that I bought or purchased or built, if any way you want to say that. If you go to the build command and go to harvest and then you go to lumberjack, there's this sawmill that you can place down if you've got the components. You've collected the components, which I did. I had to make the blocks, I had to make the iron bars or the ignits, and I had to make the lumber, which I did, and then I was able to put the sawmill down. What this sawmill does is it automatically cuts down the trees within its circle, its influence. I wonder if I can just cancel that and we'll see the circle. In other ones, if I no, I guess we don't see the circle. Well, believe me that this has a circle influence. And when I put it down, it told me there was like 28 trees around it. And so what it's doing is it's slowly cutting and deforesting this area. I haven't figured out how to plant seeds yet, but when I do, I figured I'd just plant my tree seeds in this area so that this sawmill always has resources to cut down. So I've got to figure that out, how to plant seeds. And if somebody knows how to do that, let me know in the comments below. So up here what I did is I got a debarker, and I'll show you where that is and what it looks like. It looks like this here. It runs on its own. You don't really have to do anything once you've put it down. It just kind of does its own thing. But let me show you where that is. It's going to be under harvesting. It's going to be under common. It's going to be under lumberjack. It's going to be in the common section, and it's right here. It's called the debarker. And I obviously had to get the materials necessary to make it. Well, I made it. But once you make the debarker, it has an influence on the items that are around it. So if I close out of there and I do that, you'll see that debarker, anything within its circle, it influences when it comes to a crafting table. And the two crafting tables it's influencing are the two that have the green arrows. Now, the reason why I got two of these right next to each other, because I got another one here, is I thought I could double up on the buff, but you can't. It doesn't, I guess it doesn't work that way. And to get rid of that circle, you've got to go back into that blue circle. You've got to go back into the interface. Sometimes it takes a second. I've been hitting E here. There it is. And you've got to hit close, and that gets rid of that circle. But what's going on now is that these crafting tables, this one here that makes my soft lumber, that makes the softwood into soft lumber, is on an automated process because of the debarker. So when the sawmill cuts the trees down and the soft trees go to my storage, which is in front of me, the debarker throws it over to one of these tables, and these tables do their thing. And they'll do their thing until the storage is full, until your tar storage is full, or until you run out of trees in that area. It's totally automated. Now, when I say it's totally automated, it's not that fast. I mean, it's taking a long time for that one sawmill to keep these two things going. But I think if you were out in the world and you had multiple sawmills going, if you had multiple of these structures going here out in the world, then you would see really a huge automation increase. Because I mean, realistically, I mean, you should be able to put maybe 4 of these down, and then you'd be able to feed these benches easy mode to feed those and keep these benches running. Because what's happening here is one's pausing in between because it's just bringing in, that sawmill's only bringing them in at a certain rate. So I got to get a few more of those down, and for me to pull that off is I got to get more stone. And finding stone in this world is not easy. I mean, it is in the world. It's in places, but the iron ore is definitely more plentiful than the stone nodes are. I did put this bench down. It allows me to make better weapons once I really want to do that. Like I could do a iron. Oh, what's this? An iron halberd. Let's just make one of those, right? I've got the materials. And I've been using the sword, and I've capped the skills out in the sword, so why don't we try just doing this? I mean, oh, that's pretty cool. Let's give you some distance. I mean, the attack mechanism's kind of neat. We'll try that out on some beasties next time we see some beasties. I'm just going to run around here real quick just to show you some gameplay, and then we're just going to call it a video. I just wanted to really show you the automation part of the game, so that when you get into the game, if you're one of those people that don't want to have to do, some basic things, like I imagine eventually there'll be an automated process to collect iron too. I bet you there'll be these little things, or I bet you'll hire an NPC to do it, because I know they're going to be high into NPC influence in this game. So if there's not an automated bench like the sawmill, then there'll probably be an NPC that will do it for you. So you pay the NPC, or that NPC works for your kingdom, and every once in a while that NPC brings back so much stone, depending on what its level is. I mean, I've been familiar with those kind of things when I played, BioWare's, it was called Neverwinter Nights. There were NPCs that you could hire in that game, and you'd hire them for, a day, 5 days, or up to a month. And then every day at a particular time, they would show up to town and unload what they found. And obviously, it was just a random thing. And depending on what the NPC's level was, or what their skill level was, depending on what you got each day. But you could hire like 8 or 9 of those NPCs to be doing the same task. So every day at that time, you would have like a boatload of stone or whatever coming in, because those NPCs were out there getting it for you. And then your job was to convert the materials into money, in-game currency, so that you could continue paying those NPCs to continue doing that work for you. So it was a balancing game. So far in this game, the automation is structures. But again, I imagine, because when you read the description of the game, and I believe there's going to be NPCs that are going to be doing something for you in this game. Wow, this rock is it better give me more than 4, because come on, I've been whacking on this thing. I mean, this is crazy. All right, developers. Did you just put this rock in here to test my patience? All right, let's just get some stamina and see if it's just a couple there it goes. Wow, I better get a skill point for that. I only got 4 stone. Wow. So let's go to the harvesting tab here. That would be 1 point in the quarrying. And I haven't filled this one up yet. Let me just assign the point here. What's this one? Chance to deal damage area and target and decrease the stone harvesting speed. Okay. All right. Well, I'll take that anyway. See what it does for me in the future. Oh, I did want to point out, when I was talking before, when it came to the skills, it does look like I filled the woodworking tree, like the skill tree for woodcutting, I filled it. I mean, I've taken it all. But yeah, I've got still an extra point, and I imagine I'm going to be gaining future points. So there's probably a way for me to allocate more points to these skills, depending on how many points I have available. So I might need 2 points in my bucket before I can point again into one of these other things. Because, I mean, really, I filled this up real quick. And in my other video, I said, well, geez, I'm filling this up quick. Hopefully it's a tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 components. Well, I think there must be, because if you're still gaining points and I can't spend them, if I hit a sign point here, I can't make that point go into any one of these. I'm thinking the only way to do that is to be able to buy in. I think that's what this color is, that these only took 1 point to get into each one of these. And then if I want to go to the silver level, I have to have 2 points to buy into them. That's my thoughts on that. So I'm hoping that's the case. All right, well, I'm not going to try your patience anymore. I just really wanted to talk about the automation process. This thing is pretty cool, though. I mean, it did take me a long time to find the necessary stone that I needed to make the bricks, because the stone nodes just seem to be, they're not everywhere. I mean, not like the iron nodes are. I mean, and that's the thing about when you're balancing a game, is how quickly do you want people to get the stone? Because you still got to process it through this thing. So that one node that I got 4 of them. So I still need to process it through this cutting device to make it into the bricks. And then the bricks, I need, how many of those bricks do I need to make another sawmill? So I'd have to go look, and another sawmill is going to cost me 18 bricks. So you know what my pain's going to be like. The lumber is not going to be a problem because that's the lumber that I need for this is on the automated process. So I'll eventually get that. So what I'm going to probably do is just take a break from the game right now. Let the automated process kind of do its thing while I'm AFK. I imagine, well, I imagine once I close the game down, the automated process goes away because I don't think if this was a dedicated server, I think if this was a dedicated server and I didn't close the game, then this process would continue. But because I'm not on a dedicated server and I do close the game, I think all this process will end. I don't think the game's going to do some sort of math when I come back on and say, oh, you were offline for 5 hours and that time you would have earned this much. I don't think it does that. I think the game has to be running for you to have the automated process running unless you're running it on a dedicated server. And that dedicated server is up 24 hours, if you know what I mean. All right. Well, hopefully I didn't confuse you with the dedicated server talk, but that's the way it is. I mean, we'll be seeing that dedicated server stuff when we get in the multiplayer. Because when they turn on the multiplayer for this game, that's where that dedicated server is going to kick in, and people will run that 24 hours on their box that other people can connect to. Clearly, right now, if I log out, I'm going to shut the game down, and then obviously everything gets paused until I come back. All right, well, thank you for joining me, and this has been the Tarkus Zone.